Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts, taking a look at the #1 ladder player in the world, the #1 player of all time across all games, Flash, going up here in a Terran vs. Terran against Shinee in the bottom right. Okay, so yeah, like Shinee, for those of you who don't remember, it's not Shine, okay? Shine is an amazing Zerg player. He's been in the finals of ASL, an old-time pro gamer. The guy has kids. He's the observer, or he used to be the observer for GSL. You know, an amazing Zerg. Shinee, that's Shine with two E's, named himself after a boy band, is this 6'5" Terran pro who's banned from ASL. And people are always asking, as I mentioned that, I don't really, I let myself forget about things like this, but like, for instance, he qualified for ASL, then didn't show up, if I'm recalling correctly. And then another time he qualified, but he decided he didn't want to go. So he falsely reported that he lost a match that he won so that he wouldn't be qualified. He's also someone that makes endless loud counts. Like I used to play Shinee when I lived in Korea, like 5-6 times a day. He would just endless new ladder accounts. He's known for being really rude and being kicked off teams and stuff. He's, I guess, an interesting guy in some ways. But anyways, he is one of the strongest ladder players in the world, and just about every time he tried to qualify for ASL, he made it in. So he's certainly one of the strongest players in the world. Okay. I would say specifically his Terran vs. Terran is one of his scariest matchups. And that, I would say, has to do very, very heavily with how much ladder he plays. Terran players play far more ladder games than the other races. You can ask any of like the pro Terrans, when they're laddering, you hit a lot of Terran players. And Terran players tend to play like kind of all day, compared to there's certain times a day where you're more likely to hit Protoss or Zerg. So it's a funny thing because a lot of the pros that are only playing like spawn matches or pro league matches, they avoid Terran vs. Terran a lot. And then I see them play Shinee occasionally, and Shinee will bop them. That happens. Even though they might actually be a better player, it's just like he gets a lot more Terran vs. Terran games. So anyways, I just want to give some background on him because obviously you guys know who Flash is and how strong Flash is. But Shinee is a fearsome opponent for anybody. Okay. So, looking at this, it's on Polypoid. Shinee has gone for a forward 11 racks. This is specifically to put on pressure if your opponent is doing a gasless expansion or a command center first. And you do the factory expand behind this, right? So this is like, it's not like a center racks that's going to be risky. There's a little bit of inherent risk with doing a forward 11 racks. Like if your opponent does like a proxy 8 racks, sometimes you can lose control of the game and lose. But in other situations, like if they do 11 racks in their base, then I would say that this build is actually slightly ahead against that because your barracks gets them before their barracks gets to you. As you can see, like look where his is, right? So it gets there a little bit quicker. And then against gasless expansion, this build I would say gets maybe a slight edge against that, and against command center first, it's, you know, maybe it gets close to even, right? So it's a good build. It's a good build for the ladder. A lot of people do gasless expands and command center first on ladder. Anyways, they're both going factory expansion, so there's not a huge difference in what we're seeing here. A couple vultures being made by Shinee. He'll go an add-on next. I'd be super surprised if he makes the third vulture cross spawn. Oh, he makes a third vulture cross spawn. Interesting. Now you'll see on Flash's side of the map here, he has one vulture out. Second vulture comes out. Ooh, he actually gets the first volley there, which is big. Shinee is going to sack his vulture, but he's going to get both the SCV and the... Oh, he misclicked! He misclicked! He was trying to be fancy. Don't be fancy, guys. You want to... Oh, look at me! Oh, I'm clicking back and forth. I'm making it look like a Wraith, or I'm doing patrol micro, or... You know, that type of thing. Just fucking click on the SCV. Flash's vulture is not going to miss, okay? You have to hit it, and he instead targeted the command center. Look at this, 1496. Dude, seriously, sometimes pro gamers are too fancy. Now, let's take a look at the build orders, right? So Flash has gotten a much faster add-on. You see a canceled building here? That was an armory. Like, I didn't see it. I didn't see in the production tab. Maybe some people, oh, it wasn't. I was looking at the production tab. But it almost 100% is an armory. Now, Flash is going mines, which is kind of an interesting thing. That means he's going to have to stay back very defensively. Shinee is using a very modern build where you make 4 vultures before the add-on, get 3 factories, then you go add-on speed. It's almost always speed. I've seen people go mines in weird situations, but this should be speed. But yeah, this is, and look, he's adding his 4th factory because his barracks is already up here, right? This is the advantage I was talking about against factory expand, where your barracks gets in first. So he gets the first bit of information. Flash looks like he probably will get all the information he needs. Notice how this one and this one are both kind of far away. But Flash is very good at reading these spots. Okay, he sees that factory, starts to float up. He wants to get out of here and not let this catch on fire all the way. But I do think that Flash... Oh, no, he saw it. He just saw it. So just saw the edge of that additional factory. So Flash is going to know he has to sit back more defensively. Both players do have speed on the way. Shinee is simply going to be able to make more vultures right now, and you can notice that he has actually skipped out 6 SCVs compared to Flash. Okay? Now, that's the thing. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Frog in my throat. This is one of the things. If you do a mines opener like this, like he's spent that additional 100 minerals, 100 gas getting mines. Mines are not particularly useful in Vulture vs. Vulture. Sure, they see them coming in, but they don't do anything other than that. So Shinee is optimized to just getting a huge amount of vultures. Flash needs to actually sit back very defensively. Now, it looks like he's decided that the high ground might be the strongest position he can go to. And it's very good, but when vultures have speed, they will take some shots going up. But if you have like 4 more vultures than your opponent, you can actually still go up and fight. Actually, that's exactly how many more he has right there. He has 4 more vultures right now than Flash. So we'll see if he actually dives up. The barracks is watching. Don't forget, he went in and sacrificed the vulture to kill the Marine. And that has allowed his barracks to stay at full health, floating around, watching everything. Now, Flash moves a tank over to the side. Oh, this is an interesting move. He wants to get his 3rd base. Shinee has a lot, though. Okay, a couple Goliaths come out. Now, Flash up on the high ground. Some mines being laid. That's going to keep that tank back. Oh, Jesus. He actually gets the hit on the tank. There's just not enough units here for Flash. He is getting completely overwhelmed. Like, even tanks and Goliaths here are not going to be able to fight that well. Like, when you have this many more vultures, yeah. Okay, so Flash is going to go ahead and GG. This was kind of interesting. Okay? I want to just go over a couple things. What I was leading up to, talking about how a lot of the pro gamers are not as good TVT because they kind of avoid them because they don't play as much ladder. They play like a lot of spawn matches. People generally don't pay for spawn matches. Spawn matches are when fans give prize money to see a match they want. Like, they might be like, oh, I want to see Flash play Bisu, right? So the fans get it together a prize pool and they agree to play and they play. A lot of the pro gamers games historically have been those in this streaming era. Okay, very rarely will you see someone say, I want to see a TVT, right? And a lot of times if you watch these pro gamer streams, they will leave Terran vs. Terran games on stream. I know because I try to find out how to play TVT and I go through and they've left a lot of games a lot of the time. Okay, but when you get a ladder grinder like Shinee, like I mentioned, and you guys can go and ask, this is my casting channel. I'm being completely straightforward with everything here, okay? There's no whining or anything. The Terran players play more on the ladder. At the high levels, like Terran players grind. You kind of have to grind a lot with Terran to get good. And the Terran players are on ladder like all day long. If you look at the top ladder accounts from pros, you'll notice the Terran players at the top simply have way more games than Protoss and Zerg. So if you're a ladder grinding Terran, your Terran versus Terran naturally becomes very, very good. Okay? Now, this is a funny game because you're literally having the best player ever playing against the #1 ladder grinder, which is Shinee. Everyone would agree with that. Like, this guy plays more ladder games than anyone in the world. Generally. I think maybe right this second Speed is playing more. Anyways, we're getting too far away from the point. Now, this is something that you see from pros. Like, if I cast an ASL or SSL match between 2 pros, they'll do things like get mines and lay some mines and make a couple tanks and take a third base. And I'm sitting there while I'm casting it, and I'm thinking, this isn't what my ladder games look like, even a little bit, right? My ladder games are people shoving a million vultures into my face, and I have to play very turtled. That's what you see here, okay? People who play TVT all day, this is actually how they play. Pro gamers who give each other a lot of respect, this is how they play. I think that this was a very illuminating game for that reason. So Shinee picks up a game that could have been played against anyone on the ladder against Flash. Not even close. Not even close. He just uses very modern, normal TVT play that you will run into on the ladder. And Flash is like trying to do too much at once. He's not respecting the fact that your opponent can literally just skip a bunch of SCVs, spam vultures, and kill you. The funny thing is, if you perfectly read what they're doing here, and it's like, okay, well, he has a lot of vultures. He has 4 fact. He's not switching into tanks. You can do things like sit your whole army, make a wall, and you have more SCVs, and you have better tech units, so maybe you're a little ahead. But then what this player will do is lay a bunch of mines, rally up tanks, put the tanks behind the mines, right? Make a hard position, and you might have a timing where you can push out and clear that right before the tanks get there. Okay, that can happen as well. So anyways, that's a pretty big in-depth on the way that the ladder plays compared to pro gamers. But the ladder wins this one at least. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. See you tomorrow.